There are bridges that seem to belong to a realm far removed from human comfort, suspended as challenges between sky and abyss. They rise in places where winds howl relentlessly, rocks give way without warning, and the void below is enough to send the heart racing in seconds. Every step across these spans becomes a silent negotiation between human will and the raw force of nature. Though built from steel, cables, and concrete, a sense of fragility lingers as the entire structure trembles under powerful gusts. This is a journey into bridges so dangerous, it feels as though humans were never meant to cross them. Located in the northern mountain region of Pakistan, Hussaini Hanging Bridge is known for its basic suspension structure and wide gaps between wooden planks. The structure was constructed mainly to serve local transportation needs across terrain divided by a strong, flowing river. Many plank gaps are large enough to see the river below, requiring careful movement while crossing. The bridge stretches about 650 feet and is built from steel cables with unevenly spaced individual wooden boards. A rare feature unique to this site is that a traditional wooden suspension bridge continues operating regularly instead of being replaced by reinforced concrete construction. Located in sparsely populated Siberia, Vitim River Bridge draws attention for its narrow wooden structure spanning a wide river within an area lacking modern infrastructure. The bridge extends about 570 feet in length and measures nearly 6 feet in width, allowing only one vehicle to cross at a time. Its entire deck is formed from wooden planks placed over an old steel railway frame, with no guardrails installed on either side. An unusual fact is that the bridge remains operational without side protection, requiring drivers to maintain precise alignment for every foot of travel. Ubain Bridge in Myanmar is recognized as the longest teak wood bridge still in use, extending across a wide lake as a unique wooden transport corridor. Each day, thousands of residents and visitors walk across the bridge, observing local daily routines, which creates a tourism experience directly connected to community life. Most of the main materials were reused from earlier constructions, demonstrating a sustainable approach to teak utilization in local conditions. The deck is built low and narrow, allowing pedestrians to move close to the water while preserving its role as a daily community connection. Wooden pillars are driven deep into the lakebed to maintain structural stability as water levels shift throughout the year. Ubain Bridge remains one of the very few large-scale transport structures worldwide that operates entirely on traditional wooden engineering principles. On a mountain range in Russia, Petri Suspension Bridge is a system of hanging bridges installed more than 4,000 feet above sea level, linking rocky outcrops with narrow cable and metal walkways. The surrounding terrain includes steep slopes and vertical rock walls, leaving the natural surface broken and difficult to access without artificial structures. Some bridge sections measure only about 3 feet wide, creating a suspended corridor between high rock masses and continuous deep gaps. Throughout the crossing, participants must wear safety harnesses attached to steel cables, showing the real level of risk present along this elevated route. The combination of more than 4,000 feet of elevation, narrow pathways, and uneven rocky ground has turned this suspension system into an experience that pushes the limits of natural terrain. Huashan Plank Road in Shanxi, China, is a wooden walkway about 1 foot wide, fixed directly into a nearly vertical granite cliff face. The path was formed more than 700 years ago by Taoist monks seeking isolated places for spiritual practice, far from ordinary living areas. At first, wooden boards were inserted into hand-carved holes in solid rock, and later, steel cables and safety harness systems were added to reduce danger. When stepping onto the narrow planks pressed against the cliff, you clearly feel the deep open space beside you and must constantly maintain balance. Before safety harness rules became mandatory, several fatal falls were recorded here, leading authorities to enforce stricter protection measures. Stretching across a wide valley in southern France, Millau Viaduct stands out for its remarkable height and slender cable-stayed structure in open space. Completed in 2004, the bridge extends about 8,100 feet, becoming one of the tallest transportation structures in Europe. The highest pier rises roughly 1,100 feet above ground, while the top of its tower exceeds 1,100 feet, forming a dominant vertical presence. The roadway is supported by 7 steel pylons and a balanced cable system, limiting the number of supports placed within the valley below. As vehicles cross the bridge, travelers can observe the expansive valley on both sides and clearly perceive the elevation above the ground. On certain low cloud days, the deck appears fully above the cloud layer, creating a rare visual experience directly from the active roadway. In the dry, rocky mountains of northern Mexico, Puente de Ojuela hangs suspended across a steep canyon stretching more than 1,000 feet long. On both sides of the bridge are almost vertical cliffs, creating a terrain with no escape for anyone standing in mid-air. Every step on the decaying wooden floor is a direct encounter with a drop nearly 400 feet below with no protection. There are no fixed railings, no safety hooks, only thick steel cables stretched across to keep people from falling into empty space. Some planks have already rotted through, revealing open gaps that go straight down to the canyon floor and cause people to lose balance. Puente de Ojuela tests the limit of courage as humans step onto a structure once built to serve ancient mining routes. Located along the coast of Northern Ireland, Carrick, a reeder rope bridge, stands as a small suspended crossing stretching over a narrow sea gap between steep, rocky cliffs. Visitors must walk along a coastal trail before reaching the bridge, making the experience closely connected to exploration of the surrounding natural landscape. It was originally constructed by local fishermen to reach salmon fishing grounds before later becoming a well-known visitor attraction. The present structure uses secured cables and wooden planks, replacing earlier, simple rope designs to improve overall stability and safety. The surrounding setting features solid cliff faces and an irregular shoreline, forming a distinct natural backdrop for the suspended walkway. When stepping onto the bridge, visitors clearly feel the height and slight movement of the structure, turning a short crossing into a practical physical challenge. Vøringsfossen footbridge in Norway attracts attention for spanning a deep canyon with a zigzag steel design positioned directly beside a major waterfall. Visitors ascend a sequence of suspended steps stretched between two cliff faces, creating a direct and elevated encounter with the surrounding terrain. Completed in 2020, the structure uses reinforced steel and glass panels, engineered to handle heavy visitor traffic safely. From the center, pedestrians can observe the full canyon depth and a waterfall dropping nearly 600 feet below. The stepped configuration distributes structural loads effectively while maintaining a stable walking path across steep terrain. The bridge was constructed without support columns inside the gorge, preserving open space and uninterrupted views for visitors. In the Netherlands, Veluwemeer Aqueduct unsettles many people because a highway runs directly beneath a lake surface without any solid roof overhead. Two massive water-retaining walls constantly endure pressure from more than 10 million gallons of water every minute, creating a structure filled with permanent internal risk. A thin concrete layer, only about 6 feet thick, forms the sole barrier separating moving vehicles from the heavy water mass above. With open water on both sides, movement across the aqueduct can feel unstable as vehicles pass through a narrow corridor surrounded by exposed hydraulic forces. At one point, the entire project nearly faced cancellation because engineers feared water pressure could permanently deform the concrete foundation below. The confined space, absence of escape routes and direct intersection between road traffic and water flow keep this crossing tense every time vehicles move through. Beipanjiang Bridge spans a deep mountain valley in China and is recognized for its exceptional deck height above the valley floor. Steel components and tensioned cables were engineered to ensure long-term structural stability under strong wind exposure and narrow valley conditions. The bridge extends roughly 4,400 feet in length and uses a cable-stayed system to distribute load across two main towers. The surrounding terrain is sharply divided by rocky mountains and deep gorges requiring highly precise and complex engineering solutions during construction. The vertical distance from the roadway to the valley below reaches about 1,800 feet, placing it among the tallest bridges in the world by structural height. Panjang Bridge was completed within a relatively short construction period for its scale and set a world record for bridge height at the time of opening. Located on a high mountain slope in Switzerland, Titlis Cliff Walk is a pedestrian suspension bridge constructed within a year-round alpine ice environment. The bridge is considered one of the highest pedestrian suspension bridges in Europe, attracting visitors because of its extreme installation altitude. Its walking surface is made of metal grid panels that allow direct views down to ice and rock below while crossing. The structure stands more than 10,000 feet above sea level, requiring specialized engineering solutions for long-term structural safety. Surrounding scenery includes steep mountain faces, glacier fields, and deep valleys extending across a wide alpine landscape. A rare feature unique to this site is that the bridge is anchored directly into permanent ice-bound rock rather than stable soil foundations. There is a structure called Tsingma Bridge in China that exists above deep sea waters where the seabed lies more than 130 feet below the bridge deck. This bridge crosses an international shipping route where cargo vessels weighing over 300,000 tons regularly move directly beneath passing traffic. When large ships pass underneath the bridge deck, responds with prolonged vibration sounds that can cause drivers to feel a loss of control. The total length of steel cables used in the bridge reaches nearly 60 miles, exceeding the height of the world's largest buildings by many times. Its foundations are anchored deep into rugged seabed terrain, where seasonal erosion occurs continuously, and the area records the highest lightning strike density in Hong Kong. Tsing Ma Bridge is not merely a transportation structure, but a final boundary between human engineering ambition and the harsh power of the natural environment. Located in the high mountain range of Switzerland, Peak Walk by Tissot is recognized as the first suspension bridge in the world directly connecting two independent summits within a glacier environment. The bridge stands at more than 10,000 feet above sea level, where many visitors experience noticeable pressure from the extreme elevation. Its deck is constructed from metal grid panels that allow direct views of ice and rock formations below during crossing. Surrounding scenery includes wide glacier fields, steep mountain slopes, and deep valleys extending across the alpine landscape. Opened in 2014, the structure marked a technical milestone for suspension bridge construction in complex high-altitude terrain. During winter periods, ice can accumulate on the metal surface, requiring proper traction equipment to maintain safe pedestrian movement. In Japan, Eshima Ohashi is widely recognized for its dramatic visual slope, making drivers feel as if they are climbing a vertical concrete wall. The bridge stretches about 5,600 feet and rises nearly 145 feet at its peak, allowing large ships to pass underneath without movable sections. Its rigid frame, reinforced concrete structure, is engineered to withstand heavy truckloads and continuous vibration over time. The maximum gradient is around 6% according to design data, yet perspective compression makes the roadway appear far steeper than it truly is. When approaching from the base, the road ahead blocks forward visibility, creating the impression that there is no visible endpoint. Ishima Ohashi is frequently described online as the most dangerous bridge in Japan, even though accident statistics do not indicate unusual risk levels. Gayale Suspension Bridge is a pedestrian suspension bridge stretching nearly 1,200 feet across a forested valley in Germany, and was once considered among the longest in Europe. A metal grid deck allows visitors to see straight below, while also reducing wind resistance and preventing water accumulation. The structure rises roughly 300 feet above the valley floor, creating a fully exposed open space experience at mid-span. The entire bridge is supported by heavy steel cables, anchored directly into opposing rock slopes to ensure structural stability. The walkway measures only about 3 feet in width, requiring visitors to move in single file and maintain careful spacing. After opening in 2015, the bridge attracted hundreds of thousands of visitors annually, becoming a prominent walking attraction in the region. Seven Mile Bridge in the United States stands out as a long, concrete roadway stretching across open sea, creating the feeling of traveling through wide ocean space. Its pre-stressed concrete structure is engineered to withstand saltwater exposure and strong winds, maintaining stable traffic under demanding marine conditions. The current bridge replaced an earlier version, improving load capacity and raising modern safety standards for continuous long-distance travel. It crosses shallow tropical waters that are regularly affected by Atlantic hurricanes and significant weather shifts during storm seasons. The roadway averages only about 18 feet above sea level, making it vulnerable when high tides combine with powerful wave activity. Seven-Mile Bridge ranks among the longest bridges in the United States over completely open water and frequently appears in films due to its expansive ocean backdrop. Iya Kazurabashi in Japan is a traditional vine suspension bridge spanning a narrow mountain valley and constructed primarily from natural materials. When walking across, visitors can feel slight controlled movement, with each step creating a challenging and memorable crossing experience. Its main structure consists of mountain vines woven around concealed steel cables to enhance durability while preserving historic appearance. The deck uses wooden planks spaced about 8 inches apart, allowing clear views of the water below and increasing awareness of height. The entire bridge is reconstructed approximately every 3 years to maintain structural safety under demanding environmental conditions. It remains one of the very few bridges in Japan that still relies on traditional hand-woven vine construction rather than fully industrial materials. Jiaozhou Bai Bridge in China stretches about 26 miles across open sea, forming a continuous traffic route built with massive concrete structure. The entire system stands on more than 5,000 concrete piers driven deep into the seabed to support its unusual length. Construction ran from 2007 to 2011, involving a large workforce and one of the highest material volumes for sea bridges of its era. Segmented engineering and high seismic standards allow the structure to carry heavy traffic loads over long periods. The main sea crossing extends for many miles without interruption, turning the journey into a continuous movement across exposed water. As you drive along this bridge, you travel for miles, surrounded only by water, clearly sensing the scale and distance from land. Stretching across the southern waters of China, Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge forms a sea crossing about 34 miles long, linking three major urban centers through a continuous bridge and tunnel system. To preserve major shipping lanes, engineers built an immersed tunnel, nearly 4 miles long beneath the seabed, allowing large cargo vessels to pass safely above. Construction began in 2009, and the bridge opened in 2018, with costs exceeding $20 billion, making it one of the most expensive sea infrastructure projects ever built. Drivers travel continuously over open water for dozens of miles, creating a strong sense of exposure and distance from solid ground. The structure appears as a straight concrete line reaching toward the horizon, with evenly spaced columns standing across a vast and unprotected sea surface. During construction, at least 10 workers died and hundreds were injured, revealing the real risks behind a project often described as an engineering achievement. Skybridge 721 in the Czech Republic is a pedestrian suspension bridge about 2,400 feet long, stretching across a deep mountain valley at high elevation. The structure opened in 2022, required millions of euros in investment, and quickly ranked among the longest pedestrian suspension bridges in the world. The bridge connects two mountain slopes separated by steep terrain, and its main and secondary steel cables are anchored directly into solid bedrock for long-term structural stability. When stepping onto the metal Great Walkway and moving in one direction, you can see open space beneath your feet, and each step increases awareness of the height below. From the center of the span, continuous views of forested slopes and the valley floor appear below, and the 2,400-foot length makes the distance from the ground clearly visible. Skybridge 721 is often classified as dangerous because of its extreme length, significant height, and open floor design that leaves pedestrians fully dependent on the suspension cable system. Puente Nuevo in Ronda, Spain, is a stone arch bridge completed in 1793, crossing a limestone gorge nearly 300 feet deep that divides the town into two sections. The structure was built over more than 40 years, showing sustained 18th century engineering effort against steep terrain and complex rock foundations. The massive central stone arch uses thick masonry blocks to spread weight into the canyon walls, maintaining long-term structural stability across the main span. Its light yellow stone blends with the surrounding limestone cliffs, creating a continuous visual link between built architecture and the natural gorge. Before the current version, an earlier bridge collapsed in 1741 and killed about 50 people, forcing a complete redesign of the structure. The disaster in 1741 sent victims falling nearly 300 feet into the gorge, becoming one of the most serious construction accidents of that era. Bixby Creek Bridge in California, United States, is a concrete arch bridge completed in 1932, crossing a deep coastal canyon with a highly recognizable structure. The central curved arch stands out against the rugged coastal rock, creating a clear contrast between engineered form and the surrounding natural terrain. The bridge is about 700 feet long and nearly 260 feet high, suspended between two steep cliffs, fully separated by a deep open gap below. Its reinforced concrete arch design removes the need for supports in the canyon, reducing structural risk and ensuring long-term durability for the main span. The light-colored concrete separates visually from the darker cliffs and ocean backdrop, making the structure a widely recognized coastal landmark. Because of its significant height and relatively narrow roadway above a deep drop, the area has recorded vehicle loss of control incidents, leading to stronger safety warnings. Located in Bosnia and Herzegovina, Stari Most is a stone arch bridge built in 1566, crossing a narrow river gorge with a single span and no central support. The arch rises about 80 feet above the water, making each step along the sloped stone surface a real test of balance and mental control. The bridge diving tradition, lasting more than 400 years, is not only a ritual of courage, but a challenge where you must jump from the arch into the deep river below. The main span measures about 100 feet and was constructed entirely from tightly fitted limestone blocks, forming a slim curve that crosses open space without intermediate pillars. The walking surface is paved with smooth and slightly curved stone, and the low railing increases the level of physical risk while crossing the narrow arch. In 2005, Stari Most was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, confirming its architectural, historical, and cultural importance within Bosnia and Herzegovina. In the mountainous province of southwestern China, Bailing River Bridge hangs above a massive limestone gorge that was once unreachable by natural means. Its main span stretches over 3,500 feet, supported by cables anchored deep into fractured bedrock that shifts seasonally. The landscape surrounding the bridge features steep limestone ridges, deeply cut terrain, and ancient sinkholes formed over millions of years. Local drivers often refuse to cross the bridge at night due to thick fog and fear of losing control from the extreme height. It stands as a breakthrough in Chinese transportation, cutting travel time across the gorge from 4 hours to just 1 minute. The view from the bridge reveals jagged karst mountains, divided by deep cuts, creating the feeling of standing in a world made entirely of cliffs. Quetzalcoatl Bridge in Peru is the last traditional grass rope suspension bridge that is rebuilt periodically using ancient Inca construction techniques. The bridge measures about 100 feet in length and hangs nearly 60 feet above the river, creating a direct fall distance if balance is lost. The entire structure consists of large grass cables braided from hundreds of smaller fibers without permanent steel or bolt connections. Each year, the local community completely removes the old bridge and rebuilds a new one within several days using manual methods. An unusual fact is that the bridge lasts only about 1 year before being dismantled, which is rare for an active transportation structure. Golden Bridge is located among the high mountains of central Vietnam, appearing suspended above steep terrain where slopes and depth create an unstable natural setting. The bridge stretches about 500 feet, has no roof, and only low railings, forcing visitors to face open space with no physical protection. Its structure is supported by pillars drilled more than 100 feet into the mountain to prevent sinking on fragile rock layers. Below the bridge lies a deep valley exceeding 2,000 feet, with no natural barriers if balance or control is lost. On international platforms, many viewers believed the bridge was computer-generated imagery until visiting in person proved its unreal physical presence. Golden Bridge was ranked among the top 10 surreal structures humans were never meant to cross by World Extreme Design in 2022. In China, Ruyi Bridge is a pedestrian glass bridge about 300 feet long, suspended across rocky mountain terrain, with an unusual design of 3 connected curved spans. Completed in 2020, the structure represents a shift toward bold architectural form rather than focusing only on extreme length or overall scale. The transparent glass surface, combined with 3 spans that change elevation, makes the walking path feel less stable than a traditional straight bridge. The multi-layered tempered glass panels, about 2 inches thick, are connected to a steel frame anchored directly into solid rock, forming a complex load-bearing system. As you move forward, the walkway curves ahead, while the clear floor reveals open space below, increasing the sense of separation from solid ground. The continuous curved design and see-through surface cause many visitors to pause midway to regain balance, showing the clear psychological impact created by this structure. Langkawi Sky Bridge in Langkawi, Malaysia, is a curved pedestrian bridge about 410 feet long, suspended by steel cables from a single leaning pylon, nearly 260 feet tall. The bridge stands more than 2,000 feet above sea level, forming a sweeping suspended span among ancient rock formations and dense tropical forest. Its S-shaped design follows the uneven mountain terrain, creating the image of a steel ribbon set against rugged stone and natural greenery. During construction in 2005, many structural sections were transported by helicopter because the steep mountain slope prevented normal ground access. Several glass floor panels are built directly into the steel frame, increasing the clear sense of open space between rock surfaces and forest canopy below. Langkawi Sky Bridge became a symbol of engineering by placing a modern steel structure on rock that is hundreds of millions of years old. Bac Long Glace Bridge in Son, La Province, Vietnam, is a pedestrian glass bridge about 2,100 feet long, recognized by Guinness World Records in 2022 as the longest of its kind. The bridge stands nearly 500 feet above the valley floor, requiring the entire structure to meet strict load and stability calculations. The sharply divided limestone mountain terrain made conventional concrete construction nearly impossible, so a suspended glass bridge solution was selected instead. Its walkway uses multiple layers of tempered glass built to international standards, allowing hundreds of people to stand on a single continuous span. After opening in 2022, visitor numbers increased rapidly, showing strong demand for high-risk adventure tourism experiences in Vietnam. At nearly 500 feet in height, with a transparent floor, many visitors have stopped midway due to psychological pressure, proving the real challenge of crossing it. Shizigan Floating Bridge sits among steep rocky mountains in China, where a floating pathway stretches across deep water in a way that feels unreal. The bridge extends nearly 1,600 feet, with no fixed handrails, placing walkers just one empty step above water, deeper than 100 feet. Its linked floating structure causes the entire surface to sway constantly with movement, making balance difficult even when a person stands still. The bridge lies inside a basin surrounded by mountains, creating persistent mist that often blurs the view ahead and hides what lies further along the path. As of the year 2023, no deaths have been officially reported, yet more than 60 people have been evacuated after losing control while crossing. Crossing the bridge feels like confronting raw terrain itself, where human balance and control reach their limits. In Madagascar, Tsingy de Bemaraha is a limestone karst region where rope bridges were installed to allow people to cross terrain that is almost impossible to walk across directly. The landscape contains thousands of limestone pinnacles rising about 100 feet high, packed tightly together with narrow gaps and deep fissures cutting across the surface. The bridges are built from steel cables and light metal platforms anchored directly into rock, shaped by millions of years of erosion, reducing pressure on the fragile structure. In 1990, the site was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, confirming its geological value and ecosystems adapted to this extreme limestone environment. In the United States, Deception Pass Bridge is a steel arch bridge completed in 1935, crossing a narrow strait between steep rock cliffs. The bridge extends about 1,100 feet in length and rises nearly 100 feet above the water, forming a suspended crossing between stone walls and deep currents. Its steel arch design distributes weight without any support pier in the channel, leaving the entire structure anchored only at both rock ends. Two dark green steel arches stand out against large granite formations and constantly moving water within the confined passage. As you walk along the narrow pedestrian path beside traffic lanes, you clearly feel the open space on both sides and the slight vibration through the steel frame. The bridge was completed in only a few months at a cost of about $482,000, becoming one of the most remarkable steel arch projects of its era. Trift Suspension Bridge in Switzerland was built in 2004 after the glacier retreated several hundred feet, within a few years removing the natural ice path that once allowed crossing. The bridge stands more than 300 feet above the rocky valley, forming a suspended span across a real mountain gap. Its structure relies on primary and secondary steel cables that distribute weight along the entire length, ensuring stability in a high alpine environment. The The surrounding landscape includes a newly formed glacial lake, exposed bedrock, polished by past ice movement, and large boulders revealed after the glacier retreated. After opening, the 2004 version showed strong oscillation when many people stood on it at once, leading to a full structural reinforcement in 2009. In Germany, Rakotsbrücke is known for its precisely curved stone arch, which forms an almost perfect circle when reflected on the water surface. The bridge was constructed in the 19th century primarily to create a visual effect, rather than to support major transportation. The stone arch rises about 35 feet and was built with a slender, steep profile to achieve a clear, geometric curve. Dense surrounding trees frame the structure and emphasize the stone design within a controlled, natural setting. When the water remains still, the upper arch and its reflection merge into a continuous circular shape. Rakotsbrücke is among the very few bridges intentionally designed to complete its full form through reflection rather than relying solely on physical structure. Lake Pontchartrain Causeway in Louisiana, United States, is a highway bridge about 24 miles long, stretching straight across the wide surface of the lake. The first span opened in 1956, and the second in 1969, greatly reducing travel time compared with the longer route around the water. When driving across the continuous open water, you notice long sections without side landmarks, making the sense of separation from land clearly noticeable. In 2011, the bridge was recognized by Guinness World Records as the longest continuous bridge over water in the world. During Hurricane Katrina in 2005, Several sections were damaged, yet most of the system remained standing, showing its ability to endure severe conditions. Infinity Bridge in the United Kingdom is a modern pedestrian crossing distinguished by two offset steel arches forming a continuous curved line above the river surface. Visitors can walk the full length of the bridge to view the surrounding waterfront from a moderate height, creating an open and continuous movement experience. The two arches differ in size, yet connect through a main cable support system, creating structural stability and efficient load distribution. From certain viewing angles, the reflection of the structure in the water forms a shape that resembles the infinity symbol. Completed in 2009, the bridge was part of a broader waterfront redevelopment plan aimed at modernizing surrounding infrastructure. At night, integrated LED lights along the structure highlight the full outline above the river, making it a popular stop for photography. Sunshine's Skyway Bridge in the United States is a sea crossing more than 4 miles long, where modern engineering faces a site marked by a serious past disaster. Two yellow cable-stayed towers rise nearly 400 feet high, forming a strong visual structure across a wide open water surface. The new design provides about 200 feet of clearance for large ships to pass safely while road traffic continues steadily above. Massive concrete protection systems surround the tower bases to absorb impact forces and reduce the risk of another major collision. In 1980, a cargo ship struck the old bridge, causing the main span to collapse and killing 35 people. The long, continuous crossing, significant height, and real accident history make every drive across this structure a reminder of human limits over open water. Mackinac Bridge in Michigan, United States, is a suspension bridge about 5 miles long, crossing a wide water strait that connects two major lakes within the Great Lakes system. The structure was completed in 1957 with a main suspended span measuring nearly 4,000 feet, placing it among the longest bridge spans in the world at that time. Two tall steel towers rise from the water, supporting main cables made of tens of thousands of tightly woven steel wires that distribute the load of the entire structure. The central portion of the roadway uses an open steel grating deck to reduce pressure on the suspended span and adapt to the wide water environment. The gentle curve of the suspended span forms a long steel line, surrounded almost entirely by open water, emphasizing the scale of the construction. When driving across the grating section, you feel vibration through the steering wheel and clearly sense the vast water space, causing many drivers to slow down because of psychological pressure. Tacoma Narrows Bridge in Washington State. United States is a suspension bridge linked to one of the most shocking engineering failures of the 20th century. In 1940, only months after opening the first main span, collapsed completely because of powerful twisting motion beyond original expectations. This event forced engineers to revise design standards by adding deeper stiffening girders and requiring wind tunnel testing before construction. The current bridge includes two parallel spans with reinforced structure that distributes loads more effectively and greatly reduces the risk of resonance. Its slender steel deck, stretched across wide open water, creates an elegant form, but remains sensitive to complex natural forces. The real collapse history, combined with its narrow profile, makes this structure a clear reminder of technical limits when crossing exposed water. On the cold coastal edge of Norway, Storseisundet Bridge cuts through the sea like a giant fracture between open ocean and broken coastal rock. The curved crest of the bridge creates a powerful visual illusion that can cause drivers to lose orientation within only a few seconds of approach. Ocean waves regularly wash across the roadway, turning the bridge surface into a shifting mirror shaped by constant water movement. The bridge stretches about 850 feet and was listed among the world's most dangerous roads by BBC Top Gear in the year 2011. The roadway has no dedicated pedestrian lanes or fixed protective barriers and remains fully exposed to pressure from all surrounding terrain directions. Notably, the bridge was selected by Audi as a real-world testing site for vehicle body balance systems under extreme natural conditions. The twist in Norway functions as both a pedestrian bridge and an enclosed exhibition space distinguished by a structural twist connecting two riverbanks. The structure measures about 260 feet in length and rotates 90 degrees at its center to resolve elevation differences between sides. Inside, the floor and ceiling gradually shift orientation along the twist, creating a clear geometric transition as visitors move through the structure. Its primary steel framework supports gallery areas while spanning the river without requiring a central support column. The exterior combines flat steel panels and glass surfaces that reflect surrounding nature while maintaining a defined architectural form. A distinctive feature is that the twist operates simultaneously as a river crossing and a fully enclosed art gallery within one continuous structural volume. A giant observation wheel, nearly 400 feet tall, is directly attached to Yongle Bridge in China, right above a river with shifting seasonal currents. Its steel arch structure supports a 900-ton rotating mass without any extra columns, placing constant pressure on the bridge body. While running the wheel, suspends passengers in mid-air above moving traffic and over a riverbed made of clay mixed soil prone to collapse. In a technical incident in 2015, a power outage left riders trapped in the air for nearly 40 minutes. Engineers had to design shock absorption systems to reduce vibration, while the wheel spins non-stop through storms and heavy rain. Yongle Bridge is the only structure in the world that combines public traffic and a rotating Ferris wheel, creating a risky experience beyond normal city design. Located in China, Nanpu Bridge overwhelms drivers with a massive concrete spiral hanging above a river crowded with constant heavy shipping traffic. Nanpu Bridge was ranked among the top 10 most dangerous urban bridges in the world by the Civil Engineer magazine in the year 2021. Steep, curved ramps cause trucks longer than 65 feet to lose control or overturn when entering the spiral at unstable speeds. The cable-stayed structure crosses weak alluvial ground and relies on more than 2,000 deep piles reaching about 130 feet to stabilize its foundations. Over nearly 3 decades of operation, more than 700 technical failures or minor accidents have been officially recorded on the bridge. When accidents occur, rescue teams must climb upward from ground level using mechanical ladders, requiring at least 15 minutes to reach the scene. Lupu Bridge in China stretches across deep waters with one of the heaviest inland shipping flows in eastern China, creating a dangerous intersection between two moving systems. The main steel arch spans nearly 2,000 feet and was lifted into place in only 70 minutes using hydraulic systems, once holding a world record for arch bridge assembly speed. The bridge has no support piers in the river, forcing the entire structural load to remain suspended above the water in a state of constant maximum stress. Standing on the steel deck, while traffic moves continuously across 6 lanes, people clearly sense the thin boundary between engineered structure and human survival instinct. Yangpu Bridge in China rises straight across a vast river, forming a massive crossing where red concrete meets deep and dangerous water. Its main towers stand over 700 feet high, with a cable span stretching more than 1,200 feet, pulling the entire structure between gravity and moving currents. The bridge is built above a river with strong and constantly shifting flow, forcing large vessels to carefully adjust their routes when passing underneath. A hollow visual effect makes drivers struggle to judge real distance, increasing the risk of losing control where the sloped approach connects to the bridge deck. The bridge has been used as a visual focal point in several Chinese films portraying cities left empty and broken after large-scale collapse. Vertical structural vibration along the bridge can reach about 6 inches, creating intense discomfort and dizziness for people sensitive to motion. Dragon Bridge is located along the central coast of Vietnam, where soft, muddy ground and a shifting river create constant pressure on the steel foundation structure. The bridge stretches more than 2,000 feet and uses a curved steel dragon frame without middle supports, requiring extremely precise balance across the entire span. Its coastal position exposes the structure to continuous salt corrosion and changing air pressure that slowly stress the materials over time. During major holidays, more than 10,000 people gather on the bridge, creating serious risks of congestion and safety overload. This is the only bridge in Southeast Asia that publicly breathes fire through a dragon head controlled by remote programming. Some visitors have even run away after mistaking the fire display for a real emergency on the bridge. In the industrial sea gateway of China, Stonecutters Bridge rises above deep water with a stretched structure spanning more than 3,000 feet across open space. Two bridge towers, reaching nearly 1,000 feet, stand inside a closed bay, forming an unstable suspended zone for every movement occurring below the structure. The cable-stayed system is constantly adjusted automatically to resist misalignment caused by micro-movements and continuously changing air pressure. With no pedestrian escape routes, motorcycle riders and maintenance engineers must keep moving across a deck more than 300 feet above the water surface. Assembling each steel segment requires absolute precision, since an error of only a few fractions of an inch can affect the entire structural system. From a distance, the steel gray color blends into surrounding mist, causing some drivers to report losing sight of the bridge entrance while approaching. Amid a deep-sea channel dividing a vast stretch of China, Cap Shui Mun Bridge extends like a suspended structure hanging uncertainly above unstable open water. The bridge crosses water with an uneven seabed where its foundations were drilled through solid rock to secure the structure onto a rugged ocean floor. The central span of the bridge stretches nearly 1,500 feet, with no supporting columns beneath and held entirely by a system of steel load-bearing cables. The upper deck carries heavy vehicles, while the lower level supports a major railway line, forcing the entire bridge to endure overlapping structural stress at all times. Crossing this bridge becomes a mental test, as the roadway feels suspended above dark moving water that remains difficult to fully predict or control. Located in Brunei and stretching across the South China Sea, Temburong Bridge runs nearly 30 miles through mangrove forest swamp and open ocean wilderness. A section over 8 miles long crosses deep water with soft seabed and shifting currents triggered by sudden tidal changes. There are no emergency stops or exits along the way, so drivers must continue even if problems happen during the isolated journey. In some parts, the gap between the bridge and water is just 10 feet during high tide, making people feel disoriented on the route. When standing on the bridge, nothing can be seen except water and jungle, making the space feel unclear and overwhelming. Located on the edge of the South China Sea, Tingkao Bridge stands where limited engineering meets dangerous coastal and mountainous terrain, shaped by constant natural pressure. The bridge crosses deep water and steep slopes where unstable ground conditions can trigger landslides after long periods of heavy rain. Its layered cable-stayed system allows strong movement along the deck when large vehicles pass through the structure in high traffic volume. The bridge towers rise over 650 feet, creating an extremely risky working environment that requires specialized equipment and frequent safety inspections. The main span stretches beyond 3,000 feet, without direct tower connections, generating extreme twisting forces across the entire bridge structure. At the time of construction, it became Asia's first asymmetric, three-tower cable-stayed bridge completed in just 40 months under severe geographic constraints. Located between Honshu and Shikoku in Japan, Seto Ohashi is a sea-crossing bridge that faces sharp, rocky seafloor terrain and chaotic marine currents. The waters below contain more than 700 small rocky islands, forming a dangerous geological maze for surveys and for the foundations of human-built structures. Beneath the sea, the rocky base constantly shifts in depth from 50 to 650 feet, creating uneven pressure across the entire system of bridge supports. The cable anchoring system uses specialized steel produced by only one factory in Japan due to extreme load-bearing requirements. The project was originally planned to last 10 years, but extended to 20 years because of unstable seabed conditions and limited construction technology. The existence of Seto Ohashi shows how humans attempted to cross a stretch of sea never meant for connection, despite severe geographic risks. At the western edge of Seoul, Bangwa Bridge stretches across the Han River like a tense steel corridor above deep water, strong currents, and unstable rocky ground. The central steel arch spans more than 1,600 feet and stands on foundations drilled over 100 feet into bedrock to resist riverbed erosion. In emergency situations, evacuation from the middle of the steel arch is nearly impossible because there are no pedestrian escape routes. Steel girder systems are anchored into bedrock on both riverbanks to prevent pier displacement during simultaneous erosion events. Banghwa Daegyo feels suspended in open space where engineering presses against human limits under long-lasting, unstable terrain conditions. East Taihang Glass Walk is built along a high cliff in northern China and stands out for its transparent pathway attached directly to steep rock walls. The walkway extends about 870 feet and sits more than 3,300 feet above sea level, creating completely open space beneath visitors. The multi-layer glass floor was tested through load-bearing and impact resistance trials before being opened for commercial access. The path curves along the mountain slope, allowing visitors to view the deep valley below without any visual obstruction. A steel support system is anchored into natural rock, using engineered fastenings to maintain structural stability on steep terrain. It is among the few glass walkways in China that allow you directly walking on a fully transparent surface at heights reaching several thousand feet. Living root bridges are natural crossing structures in India, where local communities guide living tree roots to form durable pathways over flowing streams. instead of steel or concrete, rubber tree roots are trained across water channels and allowed to grow for about 20 years before becoming strong enough for regular use. As the roots thicken over time, the load-bearing capacity of each bridge increases, allowing the structure to become stronger with age. Some of these bridges extend more than 50 feet in length, connecting opposite banks within steep and heavily forested terrain. A distinctive feature found here is that the bridges remain alive after completion, enabling lifespans exceeding 100 years when properly maintained. Suspended between massive cliffs in China, Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge is a pedestrian glass bridge about 1,400 feet long, designed as a pathway stretching across open air. The combination of a 1,000-foot height and a see-through surface turns every step into a real psychological challenge for those crossing it. The structure stands nearly 1,000 feet above the canyon floor, making vertical depth the main factor shaping both its design and the overall spatial experience. The entire walking surface is formed by 99 main tempered glass panels, joined together, creating a flat platform that still keeps a strong sense of exposure. During load testing, heavy trucks were driven across the bridge, and the results confirmed that the glass surface remained stable after strong impact. When you step onto the transparent floor, you can clearly see the open space directly beneath your feet, feeling completely separated from solid ground. Kakum Canopy Walkway in Central Region, Ghana, is a treetop suspension system about 1,150 feet long, consisting of 7 connected spans between large rainforest trees. The structure was built in 1995 and became one of the first canopy bridges in Africa, opening a new direction for ecotourism development. The walkway stands nearly 130 feet above the ground, equal to more than 10 building floors, making every step a clear physical challenge. When stepping onto a span only about 1 foot wide, you must keep balance on wooden planks held by steel cables and focus carefully on each movement. The system is anchored directly to large tree trunks instead of concrete pillars, reducing environmental impact and preserving the natural forest structure. After opening to visitors, tourist numbers increased significantly, creating important conservation funding and supporting the long-term protection of the rainforest ecosystem. In the United States, Royal Gorge Bridge is a pedestrian suspension bridge crossing a canyon about 950 feet deep, relying entirely on a system of steel cables for support. The canyon was formed through erosion over millions of years, creating a dramatic change in elevation within a narrow and steep rock corridor. The bridge stretches about 1,300 feet in length, forming a continuous passage between two rock edges without any support towers beneath the span. In 2013, a major wildfire destroyed many surrounding facilities, yet the bridge remained standing, proving the real durability of its suspension design. Coiling Dragon Cliff Skywalk in China is a glass walkway attached directly to a high cliff built like a suspended balcony in open space. The cliff supporting the structure is formed from sandstone millions of years old, providing solid geological layers for drilling and anchoring steel frames. When you step onto the transparent multi-layer floor, you look through open space below and clearly feel separated from stable rock. At roughly 1,400 feet above the ground, the fully transparent surface turns every step into a real psychological challenge. Little Golden Gate Bridge in California crosses a cracked, dry valley with steep, deep terrain that limits all possible directions of access. The bridge deck stands nearly 450 feet above the canyon floor, with no central support, making travelers feel like floating in empty space. Across its full length of more than 1,700 feet, there are no emergency stops or side barriers, increasing the danger in any unexpected situation. Locals often call it the bridge not meant for the faint-hearted and avoid crossing unless absolutely necessary. More than 30 serious accidents have been recorded here due to the harsh landscape and a structure that offers no margin for emergency response. There has never been an official opening ceremony for this bridge, and no official sign exists outside of technical records. Stretching across violent coastal waters in eastern China, Hangzhou Bay Bridge challenges every engineering limit by crossing one of the most dangerous tidal bays on Earth. Each day, reverse tidal surges here rise as high as 30 feet, sending powerful rolling waves directly into the bridge pillars with immense force. Beneath the bridge lies unstable marine mud, where more than 3,000 deep foundations were driven downward to keep the structure from shifting or sinking. Many describe it as a bridge humans were never meant to build, standing in a restless stretch of open water hostile to long-term human presence. When the tide reaches its peak, seawater rises close to the guardrails, making vehicles appear isolated in the middle of moving water. Crossing this bridge creates lasting tension, as the entire structure feels suspended above an unpredictable and constantly shifting sea. Across the constantly shifting land of the Red River Nhat Tan Bridge in Vietnam stretches outward from central Hanoi across unstable alluvial terrain. The entire foundation of the bridge is driven through sediment layers deeper than 100 feet, where underground movement frequently occurs as river flows continually change. The bridge extends more than 5 miles in length, yet lacks emergency lanes, forcing broken vehicles to stop directly within high-speed traffic streams. The massive cable-stayed spans holding the A-shaped towers are also points of extreme structural tension during periods of heavy traffic demand. Each year, river floods can raise water levels by nearly 15 feet, placing intense upward pressure on the bridge structure for many consecutive hours. Standing at the center of the bridge creates a suffocating sense of exposure with only open water and steel structures surrounding the observer in every direction. At Tokyo Bay, Rainbow Bridge appears as a long steel corridor suspended directly above the collision boundary of 2 major tectonic plates. To resist seismic stress, the Southern Bridge Pier was drilled deeper than 360 feet into soft geological layers beneath the seabed. Each day, around 60,000 vehicles cross the bridge, creating layered structural pressure from road traffic, rail movement, and the pedestrian walkway combined. The suspension structure relies on hundreds of large cables, with each cable inspected individually to prevent progressive structural failure. In the film The Sinking of Japan, released in 2006, Rainbow Bridge is depicted collapsing after geological separation occurs beneath its main support. Below the bridge, water conditions constantly shift due to powerful currents and sudden whirl formations, forming one of the most hazardous aquatic zones in Tokyo. Across the open sea of western South Korea, Incheon Bridge stretches like a challenge across the edge of human survival. The bridge has no walkway and runs for more than 2 miles over the ocean, with no place to stop or take cover. Its giant cable-stayed structure includes main towers that rise up to 750 feet above the water. Many accidents have happened under harsh conditions when vehicles slipped for long distances with no control or grip. In 10 years, the entire power system has failed 3 times on the bridge due to short circuits caused by salty sea moisture. Incheon Bridge was featured in the Global Beyond Borders campaign as a symbol of a place humans were never meant to cross.